Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting night with Mouth of the Mark. It is just after WWE Extreme Rules, and what a night. Uh, Daniel is with me again tonight, and it's time for me to take the reins back. I think I'm going to run the show this time. I don't like having to follow lead, so you'll just have to deal with it, Daniel.
Oh, I understand, man. I actually like it better this way. I'd rather be color commentary and not play by play. So,
Fine, I guess I'll bear the burden. Uh, Overall, let's just get an overall view here. Overall, what did you think about tonight?
I gave the whole night a B minus to a C plus at times. It was 3.5 stars total for me. I'm trying to get on the star system because I feel like you're on the star system and I'm always on like the letter grade system. So I gave it 3.5 stars overall. Um, I don't know, man. Like I felt like there were some really good matches. Match of the year could quite possibly have been on this show, but at the same time, I felt like there was a lot of botch spots and a lot of matches. It felt really rushed. Felt really clunky. What do you think about the show overall?
I agreed. I agree overall. I gave it a 3.5 to a 4 star. And the only reason I went higher up to a 4 star was because the matches that really did work. So they kind of made up for it. But there were a couple of moments there in certain matches where you really felt disconnected, and
Yeah,
that was one thing that really kind of pulled the grade down for me. I felt disconnected on a couple of spots, couple of matches, but we'll get into that. The Do we want to cover the pre-show with Daniel Bryan? I mean, all we know, I guess, real quick, we can hit it. He was on Miz TV, and basically he was here tonight to award the Intercontinental Championship to the winner of the Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber, uh, which brought out the Mega Powers, which was a little spot for them, which was cool, I suppose. Um, but other than that, man, I don't. I mean, I want to just jump straight into the pay-per-view. You cool with that?
yeah, totally. I mean, I'll give a little nod to the Stardust Ryder match. They actually like got a decent amount of time on the pre-show, and it wasn't a bad match. I'm kind of anxious to see what they do with Stephen Amell and Stardust. That might be kind of something that they build towards. I know that he's a super big mark, and he really like. I think in an interview at one time he said that he did some indie like local pro wrestling when he was like doing acting stuff. So I could be wrong. I could be totally off on that, but I could have sworn I saw something similar to that out there. Um, so I don't know. That might be kind of cool. But yeah,
Yeah, I hear that they're wanting to book. It's going to be him versus Stardust at SummerSlam, so that'll be interesting. And if they do that, hopefully he does learn to take bumps. And if he doesn't know already, Cody would be a great teacher for him, I believe. And it would be kind of cool where you build Stardust up as a villain, and you have Arrow come in and vanquish the villain, and Cody Rhodes comes back.
yeah. But that's gonna be the weird part. Like, how do you put him on TV? Like, do you put him on like when you have the match? Do you put him as the Green Arrow, like in his like
Yeah, that's the
in his
gimmick.
on-set
That's the
costume,
idea.
or do you
Well,
have
that's
him
the
be
idea behind
Stephen
it.
Amell, the actor? You know?
No, the idea is to have, from what I've read on the dirt sheets, the idea is to have Arrow versus Stardust. So that's supposedly they're going to put him in full costume and do all that, but that's to be seen. We've got a little ways to go. We've got Money in the Bank and Battleground to go
It'd
before
be
then.
interesting
So,
to see if they put Stardust in like season 3 or season 4 of Arrow.
well, that'd be cool if Cody got some time off and then did that, and then once they finished filming that season of Arrow, he came back as Cody Rhodes. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd
But
be
let's
kind of
get let's get
cool.
uh
Yeah,
let's get into the main card. Uh, I was surprised that they started the night off with an elimination chamber match.
I
I did.
wasn't.
You thought they were? I mean, I knew they weren't going to do the Intercontinental title match first, but I don't know. I get actually, I was surprised until I saw JBL do the tour, and I was like, okay, the chamber's already down. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I was initially surprised, and then once they did the tour, I was like, okay. What did you think about that tag match, man?
I gave the tag match a B. I felt like it was a good match. It I thought it was going to be clunkier than it was, and not saying that it wasn't clunky. Kalisto actually, I feel like
Oh, I know.
was like he was the flub of the night, which is rare. I mean, he was really like his timing was really off tonight. There was a couple spots that he was just off. Even that top hanging like splash thing. It's like, dude, you can't do the swing pump thing. Like, just know your body weight, throw your heels back, and go. Do a face bump. Like, why, why would you swing for a little while? Like, that's so dumb. I don't know.
He looked scared, man. Like honestly, like watching him up there, he looked to me, he looked scared out of his mind. Like when he started climbing, like when he got up on the wall, he looked like he was okay. And then he started trying to move fast to get on top of the pod, and I watched his legs slip. And like from that point forward, he looked like he was going really slow and like really cautious. Like he looked scared after that point.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. He definitely looked like he had some kind of anxiety going into that whole spot. Um, I mean, I like that. All three members of New Day were in there.
Yeah, that was great.
The work they did was great. I felt like the match. I mean, I was kind of surprised that Cesaro and Kid got eliminated. That early on. For a minute there, I really did think the primetime players might actually win the tag titles. But it was
Dude,
okay. I mean, it wouldn't have changed the
how good did
grade.
they look?
They looked great,
Like,
man. They looked really good. They looked really good.
I mean, how good did Aaron Young and Titus O'Neil look tonight, man? Like they look like $1 million.
Millions of dollars.
That's what I'm saying, man. I was surprised too. I was surprised Kid and Cesaro got eliminated so early. Um, I went into it assuming that New Day was going to win because I think they're trying to build some credibility to the tag titles, so they're letting teams run with them. Um, and they're doing a pretty good job. I love this Freebird style that they're doing with the New Day. I just I wish that we would have seen a little more showcase of from the Lucha Dragons and I mean, the Ascension cleaned some house, man. I mean, they were eliminating teams left and right there for a minute.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it was. I mean, it was. That's what I mean. Like, I feel like everybody got decent shine in the match. It didn't hurt any of the teams. Um, I mean, I feel like the only team that really got hurt was Lucha Dragons, and it's just because of Kalisto's clunkiness, which is weird, because generally, if someone's going to ruin a Lucha Dragons match, it's going to be Sin Cara. But um, yeah, I mean, it was a B. I mean, it was a good match. I once Kid and Cesaro were eliminated, I knew they weren't going to put over the primetime players for the titles as a mark, but as a fan, I still kind of thought they might.
Yep,
Um,
yep,
Other than
that was
that, but
me.
yeah, I mean, overall, it was a B for me.
And I agree. Solid B, 4 stars, whatever you want to look at it. It was good work by 4.5 teams. And on a couple of spots, Callisto looked like he was a little like a fish out of water. But it didn't, I don't think it hurt it that bad. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
with 6 tag teams, a clunky Callisto wouldn't have changed the grade from an A to a B. 6 tag teams with a 3-on-2 dynamic with the New Day. I mean, that's a B match anyway, no matter how you look at it. Um, what was after that? Was the Divas match right after that?
yes, the Divas Triple Threat match was right after that.
Okay. See, look, forgettable for me. What did you think about Nikki retaining? I thought Paige was gonna win, to be honest with you.
I don't under. It's I gave this match a D. I gave it 1.5 stars. It was really bad. The spots were really bad. The spots they did get right looked really clunky, like that
The
the
Tower
top
of
rope
London thing?
suplex thing. Like, it worked, but it looked like it should have been done a little bit differently. Like, they all landed safely, I guess I should say. I don't know if it worked, but
Yeah.
like it was a save spot, but it didn't really get the wow factor that I think everybody was going for. And I just don't understand the booking again, man. I just don't understand the point of having all this. Like, you spend so little time on the divas, and you push these characters in a certain way. And you don't really push the Bellas. You don't really push Nikki, especially. And if you do push the Bellas, you push them together. So when Nikki retains constantly, and she's had the title for like half a year, it just I don't know, man. It seems like it was the wrong choice to have her retain at this show. I think it would have been a lot better off for Paige or even Naomi to win the title, even if it was a brief run for Naomi and like lose it even at Money in the Bank. Um, I thought she should have dropped the title to one of them tonight. That's my opinion.
I agree. And dude, honestly, when I first saw the move, did you see that it was like a reverse hurricane run of the Naomi to Paige? That original angle with how Paige landed, I thought Naomi hurt Paige because Naomi should have kept
Yeah,
her
it was
legs
rough.
hooked and like it was a botch. Like because the way I saw it, Naomi should have kept her legs hooked to where when she went back, she could have pulled Paige back, but like she didn't. So Paige had to literally like do a backflip back bump to like make the bump work. So I got scared for a minute. I was like, oh no, Paige is hurt. And then when they showed the replay, it looked like she like took a shoulder bump. So I was like, okay, cool, she's not hurt. So that was yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't
looked
make
weird.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't make sense for Nikki to keep retaining by herself, especially after the whole like we're heels and now we're gonna turn face for no reason because Naomi is now a heel. Um, I think either Paige winning as a face and then you put the Bellas back heel, or maybe have Naomi win and have her take out Nikki, and then you have a Naomi Paige feud. And 2 weeks ago, I would have said that would have been really good. But after watching how clunky Naomi was tonight, I don't know how it would be. So maybe it is for the best that Nikki retains. Maybe Nikki can start doing what Cena's doing and start bringing up some NXT women to where we can get some quality women's matches on the main roster. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I agree with your grade. I agree with your grade overall. I honest, I was hanging out with the boys tonight. Had Corey and Nick over here, so the D's match really kind of pulled me out of it, and we started talking amongst ourselves, just kind of marking. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
uh, so after the Divas was come on, trying to rack my memory here. Come on, Matt, you can
dude.
do it.
It was match of the night, man. It was
Oh,
match
that's
of the
right. That was,
year.
see, I'm used to seeing him main eventing or co-maining. I'm not used to him being so early in the card. And when I saw this match come up, I looked at Nick and I said, "Man, are they only doing a 2 hour special?" You know what I mean? Because I'll be
Yeah,
honest. To talk about another match just for a second, I had forgot that Bo Dallas and Adrian Neville was happening. Like I was like, "Oh man, Cena's on now. That means we got the other chamber and the main event. Oh man, this is going to be a 2 hour thing." But dude, I gave this match an A plus. John Cena
oh
versus
my
Kevin
god,
Owens
yeah.
was an A plus. You know,
Dude, the highest match you can possibly give. Like the
you know what
highest
though?
rating to a match you can possibly give, I should
For
say.
sure, for sure. This is a 5 star match, and this is a contender for match of the year. But I can't go out and automatically give it match of the year right now, and I'm going to tell you why. This year, we've had this match, and we've had the triple threat match at the Royal Rumble, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. I mean, that was a really good match too. So it's really hard for me to give this match of the year just right off the bat. In a couple of weeks, I'll rewatch it and I'll rewatch the Royal Rumble match and I'll decide which one I like better. But it's pretty close right now, man. This match was everything we wanted it to be. I mean, Kevin Owens in he's been in the company for less than a year. He comes to Monday Night Raw, calls out John Cena. His first match on the main roster, he beats John fucking Cena clean. How fucking awesome is that?
It's beyond words, man. It's like the little light in the tower for the IWC, man. It's like, hey, we know you guys are there. Hey, we're actually gonna give you some kind of attention at some point, I promise. That's what it was. It was like, okay, we're finally gonna tear down this barrier that we've been putting up from the PG era, and we're finally gonna give you a pro wrestler that we put over for once in like I don't know, 10, 15 years. Well, I mean, people say, Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan changed his whole gimmick. He was more superstar by the time he was super over with the Yes gimmick than he ever was as a pro wrestler doing the same moves. You know what I mean? So, like, and I'm not saying that there haven't been great pro wrestlers that have been champions, CM Punk, but I'm saying, like, this guy came out of nowhere, never had the superstar treatment. Like, I mean, all those guys had WWE careers before they got to a point where they could win the title. And Kevin Owens comes in and beats John Cena his first match. His first match? Dude, and I'm telling you right now, I'm sticking to my word, dude. I really think that Owens will take that US title off of Cena after he drops the NXT title. Or he'll take some kind of secondary title, one way or the other.
I think I read somewhere that they might be grooming Kevin Owens to be facing Brock Lesnar at some point down the road. And you and I posted this earlier. That needs to happen before Lesnar's contract is up. Like, there is no ifs, there is no buts. It needs to happen.
Well, dude, but Lesnar's on a 3-year deal, though.
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying. Like, in the next 3 years, it needs to happen.
oh, it will, most certainly. But I don't know. And honestly, like with that fake out main event finish tonight, my first thought when Ambrose went over was going to be like, ooh, they're probably going to do Rollins Kane, and then Owens might win the title to go Lesnar at SummerSlam. They might just really fast track that. You know what I mean? Like, because they've had a lot of guys. Like, they had big plans to bring up Sami Zayn before he got hurt. They had plans for Hideo before he got hurt. They had plans for Rusev, and now he's hurt. Like, I mean, I really thought for that 30 seconds or 2 minutes or however long where Dean Ambrose won the belt, I was first of all pissed off and being like, wow, that's terrible creative. Why would you drop the title on a sideshow when, like Rollins has been sneakily winning all these ones and you don't have one solid legitimate win for him? The least you can do is give him another sneaky win, which they did. So I'm glad that it ended up working out. We'll get to that anyway, though. But I feel like I can definitely see Owens in the world title picture before he goes to Lesnar. You know what I mean?
Right. No. I agree. I think he works this program with Cena because they've announced the rematch for Money in the Bank. And I actually think that Owens will not get the Rusev treatment. I think he will either go 3-0 against Cena or he will go 2-1 against Cena because I think they're going to do, Extreme Rules, Elimination Chamber, Money in the Bank, Battleground. They'll run a 3 pay-per-view program, and then SummerSlam will be something big for Owens. That's just what I think.
Is it going to be Battleground, though? Is that the schedule?
Yeah, Battleground is before because Lesnar's advertised for Battleground.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
bringing
I
they're bringing
didn't know
Lesnar
that's
back
the
a
title they
month
were going to
early.
use. I don't know why
Yeah,
they keep using Battleground. It's such a terrible pay-per-view name. They have even Judgment Day would be better. Like, even No Way Out. Maybe
Unforgiven.
I'm just being like an old mark and
No,
showing
I'm the
my
same
age,
way.
but
I'm the
even
same way.
in your house sounds
That's
better
what I was
better
just
than
about to
Battleground.
say. I was about to say, like bring back, like, even though he's not there, bring back Rock Bottom or something. Just
Yeah.
like some crazy name would be better than Battleground. But so after match of the night, because let's be clear here, Owens and Cena was match of the night, and there's so
It's
much
not,
more.
dude. And like you were saying before, to me, including that triple threat, up until this point, I will say, up until this point, that was match of the year for me. Match of the year.
I think I'm in a reserve judgment, but as someone who just saw it and is still riding the high of the event, I'm going to agree with you and say that it's match of the year. But I'm going to reserve judgment on going back to watch both matches and deciding at a later date. So we will
That's fair.
see.
That's fair.
So we'll see. Um, so after that, then was the match that we all forgot about. And this was another low one for me. Like, it's the lowest match that I'm ever gonna give Adrian Neville, I think, because I just wasn't into it, man. The work just wasn't there, and which is odd because I was really pulled out of an Adrian Neville match, and that doesn't happen often.
What did you rate it overall?
Like a D, man. I mean, really, like it was bad, like a DC area. Would you
Wow,
give it an F?
I actually gave this match a B minus, man. Like,
Why? Like, why? I mean, for me, it wasn't as good as their NXT stuff.
because the stuff that I've read and heard is that we were right in the a few weeks ago when they were cleaning out his merch. I don't think that they're going to keep him after his contract expires, and I think that because of his brother, they're giving him a rub on the way out. They were like doing this program with him, giving him a network pay-per-view match, and I think he's got 4 months left. And I think he's on one of those things like preseason for an NFL roster type thing where it's like, you got 4 months left on your deal. We're going to give you an angle, and if you can kill it, then we'll re-sign you. But if not, we're not going to. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's where he's at right now. And knowing that and seeing that, like, I don't know. To me, I can see what you're saying. I felt like this was a different kind of Neville match, but for me, I could see him for the first time on the main roster being the general. You know what I mean? Like I saw him calling the spots. I saw him being in control of the match, and I felt like even though it was short, he didn't. He beat Bo Dallas clean without burying Bo Dallas. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not a
Well,
Bo Dallas guy. So
right, right,
like,
right. I agree, but my biggest gripe of this was that I think, and I guess it's the same gripe that Stone Cold has about Ziggler. I think Neville spent too much time selling in this one. I mean, like, like we didn't see the Neville that we really saw on the main roster up until this point. There, I mean, which isn't a bad thing. But if we were gonna see Neville getting done and a Neville getting hurt and Neville having to really struggle to come back, it needs to be somebody more cool than Bo Dallas. Like Bo Dallas is the guy that he beat soundly for the NXT title. I mean, it doesn't make sense for him to be the guy to give Neville trouble on the main roster. They could have kept the Sheamus angle or the Barrett angle going and then have it somebody who really just beats Neville up. I mean, in suspension of disbelief, why would someone who took it to Barrett like a fucking champ get manhandled for the amount of minutes that they had by Bo Dallas? And that's
I
just
could
what
honestly,
I gave it a low grade for the booking of it. That's all.
yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. I think you may have been right. Like, I think that Bo Dallas maybe could have gone over if they're gonna do that. But I think that's where they are, and maybe because of what I read, my vision was a little bit different. Like the way I watched the match may have been a little bit different, because it was just me too, so I didn't have like any other kind of distractions other than me taking notes. But I don't know, man. I felt like it wasn't a bad match. It was better. It was significantly better than the in-between match, like with the Divas.
Oh, well, of
Um,
course. I mean, yeah. This is an
but then
NXT.
the, then the then the IC title, match was next. That was the next one, and I
What a
honestly
letdown.
believe it was the worst chamber match to date, like the worst one in a chamber to date. Period. And that's not to say it was a god awful match. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't. It was not good. It wasn't even good. It wasn't great. It wasn't. This is awesome. It wasn't. It wasn't good. I mean, it was. It was
It was lackluster. Lackluster
A
is the
raw
word.
quality elimination chamber match. And that could have been because of creative. It could have been because of booking. But there were a lot of huge botches. Like that whole like Mark Henry thing coming out early really hurt the match. That really, really, really hurt the match. But my hat is off to Ziggler because you could tell when they had that four-way thing, they weren't prepared for it. And you could see that Ziggler was just calling spots. Like he was the quarterback in the ring at that point. Like he was pretty much telling people what to do, and all four of them just went with it. And considering the names in that ring and the fact that they all listened to him, that just shows you that like that guy is a phenomenal worker. I really hated that they put Ryback over, especially considering it's a super botched match to begin with. I really, really hate that Ryback is the Intercontinental Championship match. And shame on you, Texas, for chanting "Feed me more." Shame on you. Ew. Gross, gross, dude. No, stop it. All of you. Ugh. That terrible. Why? No. Why would you? No, that guy? Out of everybody else that was in even the heels. I'd even rather have the stale Sheamus over. What? No, bad. It was bad. The finish was bad. I really hope that they're going to actually turn Ziggler heel on Lana and give Ziggler a heel run, because right now they have Sheamus and Barrett. They pretty much pulled. I don't know why, but he has no steam left. He's pretty much on the same level as Truth tonight. You know, like it's I don't know, man. What did you think about the match?
I, I didn't hate the match, and that's the sad part is I didn't hate it. I agree with you that it was a very low quality elimination chamber, and I'll tell you why. It lacked one very important thing: star power. It did not have star power like all these other elimination chambers. And it's because of how they've booked everything so far. It was poor booking. I mean, when your biggest star is Dolph Ziggler and a heel Sheamus in an elimination chamber with six people, I mean, that's a problem, man. I mean, I get that they've built Sheamus up to be this barbaric warrior, like unstoppable guy. But even if Rusev was healthy, and even if Mark Henry wouldn't have been there, that's still really not a lot of star power. Because think of all the steam that Rusev just lost with all this Cena stuff that happened, and with all the Ziggler stuff going on with Lana leaving. Like, you know, I it lacked for me, and even the Henry botch didn't bother me, but because I felt like Ziggler recovered well enough because I was listening to him barking out orders. And speaking of that, dude, how fucking loud was the ring mic'd up tonight, huh? Like I heard everything. Like
Yeah,
every single spot that was being called tonight, I heard. Eh,
yeah. And they weren't. I felt like it wasn't egregious. Like, I don't know. I felt like I heard some
well,
yelled
Cena
calls,
always is.
but yeah, and Cena, yeah, Cena's the worst about that. I mean, that honestly, that was when the whole Cena sucks thing started. Like, right, like I'd say maybe a year before the CM Punk craze happened. That was his main thing. It wasn't even the 5 moves of doom at that point yet. It was the fact that he called everything so loud. Like, that's an issue, man. I mean, it's an issue, but at the same time, I understand you can't have every match be a Randy Savage Steamboat match where it's all pre-organized, like a half hour to an hour long match that's all completely move by move scripted out early. Like that's, I mean,
Right. No, that's crazy, and I understand that. But I guess back to the point of this chamber is that I thought for sure Sheamus was going to go over. Like I thought they were going to put the strap on Sheamus and
me too,
have him as a heel.
me
I
too.
thought that the Ziggler and Rusev feud would play a factor into it. Like Ziggler eliminates Rusev, but Rusev comes back and costs Ziggler against Sheamus, like something crazy like that. Like I thought that was kind of how it was going to go. Uh, Mark Henry is an entrant. I know that I didn't really like it, but when they said former world champion, the only two people in my mind that I could really think, actually three people, were Mark Henry, Jack Swagger, and The Miz. So out of those
Christian.
three, well, Christian, but Christian, I mean, uh, Christian hasn't been seen or heard from in forever, and then they say he's retired, but he says he's not. And it's just, it, out of all of the possibilities, Mark Henry is not the worst. So I'll say that. And he looked okay. Like he looks like he's in pretty good shape.
I honestly
He
feel like it would have made more sense. Like, I agree that the worker himself, Mark Henry, would be the best option out of those, but I think it would have made more sense to have the Miz in there, booking wise.
yeah, booking wise,
Even if
I
it was a
agree.
one-off for him, it would have made more sense. Um, I don't know, man. I just don't. I don't know. I felt like it was him as an entrant was really bad.
I gave the whole chamber a C. It was a round of B until I saw Ryback and Sheamus as the last two. And then when Ryback won, I was just like, what the hell? You know, And then obviously they did that little interlude with Daniel Bryan at the end, which was kind of cool. It's cool that Daniel's still on TV a little bit here and there. Um, it's a nice way so that people just don't like completely let him disappear because the casual fans are just gonna let him disappear from their minds. The marks like us, we're not gonna forget. Daniel Bryan's gonna be in our head because Daniel Bryan is our guy. Well, most people's guy because there are those guys in the IWC who think he's a waste of time, but you know it it's nice that he's on TV, and then of course they're leading into Tough Enough, which will be on TV, so he still will be around, and that's nice. Hopefully they'll put the strap on a heel when it gets
Yeah.
closer to time for him to come back, and then when he does come back, he can jump right back in. Hopefully, um, I really wanted Sheamus to win because I was hoping that maybe we'll get like a Finn Balor call up soon, and we could see like Finn Balor versus Sheamus or something like that. Um, But, you know, what's done is done. Ryback is the Intercontinental Champion, and we can just only hope that it ends sooner than later.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him having a long title reign. At least I pray to God that doesn't happen. Um, God, I just can't.
Dude, I would have taken Bray Wyatt. Like, let Bray come back and just beat Ryback again
I
and
thought
just
it would
have
have
the
made more
strap.
sense, even with the world title tease. It would have made more. It would even have made more sense to have Orton in there and have Sheamus screw Orton over or something. You know what I mean? Like, I I mean, even with a law. Well, I mean, I understand they want to protect Orton. They don't want to have a loss going into Money in the Bank.
Dude, they could have done
Um,
Big Show.
yeah, even Big Show. Yeah, Big Show would have been a good one. Like, well, no, I would have been just as pissed with Big Show as Mark Henry. I mean, I guess I don't know. Their hands were tied, man. Last minute decision with Rusev. I can't knock him too much for it. It's just
Yeah,
that
they had a week.
Rusev is such a big gap to fill because we're all so stoked on him, and you poured so much promotion into him that I just feel like it needed to be somebody that was a heel and not a baby face, and it should have been a bigger heel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. It should have been another heel to fill the spot. I agree entirely. Um, Plus side though, with it not being a heel, it made the botch easier to recover from because it was another face.
Yeah.
So, uh, but after that was a pretty good match. Obviously, it was a match of the night, but the world title match was pretty good for what it was. We all knew it was going to be a gimmick finish, but I was surprised at what gimmick they went with. First off, I was surprised as hell that Ambrose got the win, period. Like, for him to get the pin, I was like, holy shit. Like, as a fan, I was in the match. You know what I mean? Like, not just as a mark, I was in the match as a fan. And when he got the pin and they counted three, just like everybody in that arena, I popped. Like, I was just like, holy shit, they actually did it. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, oh my God, they actually put the belt on him. You know what I mean? Because it was unexpected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so I was freaking out. I was like, holy shit, they put the belt on Dean Ambrose. And I'm starting to flip out. I'm starting to, get really excited. And then I see the two refs standing next to each other. I'm like, oh no, they're going to do a gimmick finish. And when I saw it, I was like, it's gonna be a gimmick finish. That's it. It's done. And sure enough, they did the Seth pull, the ref. By the way, perfect production. That camera team is perfect because when I watched Dean Ambrose go for that dive, the angle was perfect that you actually didn't see Seth pushing and pulling the ref too much. There was minimal movement that you could see because it was like really lateral.
Yeah.
So it was perfect because the gimmick finish really kind of came out of nowhere for your casuals. It was great. Like if anything, the production of this match is what really gave it a higher grade than really what it should have been. This wasn't as good as their Hell in a Cell match. I'll say that right now. This world title match was not as good as Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell.
No, I agree.
Uh, but but the shock factor of Ambrose getting the pin and Ambrose walking out with the world title more than made up for what the match lacked. It added some gimmick for booking for the next 2 weeks going into Money in the Bank. I think Ambrose is going to get a rematch at Money in the Bank. I don't think Ambrose will actually have the strap until Money in the Bank. Like he'll give it back tomorrow night or something like that. But it will be very interesting storyline wise going through to see what they're gonna do. Um,
I think they might actually do a ladder match because they generally have a lot of gimmick matches at Money in the Bank outside of that Money in the Bank ladder match. So it makes sense to have the Money in the Bank ladder match and then a ladder match with, not consecutively, obviously, but it would make sense to me. They might not do that, but I think that would be a good match. I think that the only reason why they wouldn't do that is just so, the Money in the Bank match wouldn't take
to
shine
save
off
the
the main
gimmick.
event.
It's to
Um,
save the gimmick.
yeah, which is fine too. That's just a thought, but I mean, I thought the match was good. I thought it was a really good match, but I felt like you. I think that everybody was so taken back by the Owen Cena match, and it was. I mean, the crowd was kind of spent, especially after going through that IC title chamber too. So,
Owens was
um,
fucking hard to follow tonight, dude. He threw everything and the kitchen sink.
and he fulfilled it, dude. And you could tell on his entrance down there when I saw him, I was like, I don't know, he looks kind of nervous. Like he kind of was breathing real hard, and like you could, I mean, some of those indie guys, like that's kind of why we love them, though. It's like you can really see
You can
them.
see the emotion, man.
You can
Like you
see
can see it's
them,
them.
like yeah, yeah. And I know Vince doesn't like that because Vince feels like that's poor acting. But this is the reality era, and like that's very real. Like he was very much. God, what's the right word? He was
Organic.
very much
He was very organic.
he was very organic. That's the perfect word. Like he was very much there, I mean, you could see all the spots were clean. There wasn't anything clunky in the match. And this is another feather in the cap of John Cena, who is, I mean, he's Vince's guy, like he's the guy that's gonna bridge the gap between the Vince era and the NXT era that's to come. I mean, and if you really look at it, I think besides the Divas match, every winner tonight had someone from NXT on it. Every single person that won a match tonight, besides the Divas match, was an NXT guy, or
Um,
had a guy, or had an NXT guy there, or two. New Day. That's two guys. Neville went over. Ryback was an old school Nexus NXT guy. I mean, they were all NXT guys, and I'm not. I mean, obviously Ryback is the one that sticks out of the sore thumb, and he was in NXT when it wasn't what it is now. But we've covered that already.
yeah, yeah. But it was cool. So I gave the world title match a B, like a solid B, B plus. It wasn't, and I guess I didn't give it an A because of how high I regarded that Hell in a Cell match the last time I watched these two guys really go one on one. But it was still a good match. It was a good main event. They had a hard act to follow. I mean, a hell of a hard act to follow. Um, so it was a good night overall. Like it was for the build was terrible. I know we talked about the really low rated Raw, which by the way, uh, for everyone who has said that we were wrong and Raw was not the worst of the year, I would like to refer to you to the ratings. Last week's Raw was the lowest ratings that Monday Night Raw has drawn since the 1990s. So you can suck on that.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so just so we're clear, we're not just biased because of shitty booking. It's bad TV. It was bad TV. And for having bad TV for 2 weeks going into this event, the workers really brought it as much as they could
Yeah, yeah,
tonight.
and dude, in all honesty, like we're actually pretty positive marks, man. We give Raws like B's on a semi-regular basis. We're not the super negative, depressing. We hate everything IWC guys. Like we will judge it show by show. You know what I mean? And like
Yep,
it
for sure.
last Monday was the worst Raw of the year, if not in the worst Raw in a long time, and it's a fact. Like it's a fact. I mean, even to them, they'll say, "Well, clearly because of the ratings." Like, so even for us as marks and fans, it was the worst Raw last week. This show was good. Overall, it was a good show. I gave the show 3.5 to 4 stars. So,
And
I
I
mean,
am in
it was a
agreement
good
entirely.
show. It wasn't a great show, but it did. Honestly, if Owen Cena hadn't been on this show, it would have been a C minus probably. So a B plus. You got a letter grade and a half, just from what could still be match of the year. Now there was one spot that I want to touch on that we didn't cover, but in the Owens Cena match, he went and I thought he was going to do that pile driver for a split
Oh, I
second.
marked out hard.
Yeah, and then he flipped it out, and you could hear the crowd boo because they
Yep.
all wanted the pile driver.
When
And
he
I feel like after that spot, and because he had him in the perfect spot, Cena could have taken the pile driver and have been totally safe. They could have done it clean. I think that they could probably use it at some point.
I when he kicked out of the first pop-up power bomb and then Owens did his little flurry of a bunch of signatures, when Owens was throwing everything and I watched him set for another power bomb, I said he's going for package. And Nick said, no way, not going to happen. And when he hooked the arms and he hooked the legs, I said, oh shit, here it comes. And I was so disappointed when he did the power bomb. But at least he's still doing something to that effect. It's almost kind of like a tribute to his indie days. So that's kind of how I took that. Even if he couldn't, I was like, dude, is Cena just gonna take the fine? Like, because Cena's done that before. Because if you remember, whenever Cena and Punk went 1-on-1 before the Rock match, Cena took a chair shot to the head, and Punk did a pile driver, and they both just ate the fines. Like they were just like, ever. We put on a 5-star match on Raw, and they just
Yeah,
ate the fines.
I
So
don't. Wait,
like,
what match was that?
that was, if you remember, when Rock beat Punk for the title, and Cena was gonna face him after he won the Rumble. Punk said, "You don't deserve to face The Rock because you've never beaten me." And Cena said, "Well, if I can't beat you, I don't deserve to face The Rock." So they had a match at Raw, and Cena went over. And
What year was that? Was that 12?
that was
13?
2013. That was Rock. That was Cena Rock. That was twice in a lifetime. That wasn't the first one. That was the second one when Rock won the title. So Summer of Punk was 11. Reign of Punk was 12 and 13. So yeah, it was 2013. So, but yeah, like so I know Cena's game for taking fines to put on 5-star matches. So I think there's a possibility that we'll straight up see the package pile driver at Money in the Bank. Like I think it might happen.
Yeah, it might. That'd be kind of. It would be a big pop.
I'll pop. I'll pop
Yeah.
like a fucking like I'll dude, like you'll hear me from Tennessee just marking the fuck out. Like, and dude, like Owens did so much. Like I cannot give Owens enough props right now because I'm gonna just be an indie mark right now for a minute. Okay, how much does he owe the Young Bucks for that super kick? Let's just be clear.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
he did that, and Christopher Daniels, watch out because I think Kevin Owens is coming for your best moonsault ever because that spring moonsault from facing one way, 180 and then moonsaulting, ridiculous for a guy that size.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a good dude. The whole match, man. I mean, I will watch that match probably 3 or 4 more times before this year is out.
Props to Cena for taking an AA from somebody else. Props to Cena for letting this dude just hit you with everything. I mean,
Dude,
I know as marks we pretty much hate on Cena, but
but we
Cena,
haven't. We haven't for like the past like
I know,
I don't think we have
I
ever since
know.
the beginning of this show. Like he has slowly won over the LWC, man. Like now that he's
It's
not just all poster boy and all Super Cena all the time, he's so much better. I mean,
speaking speaking of that, there was one thing that John said that I literally died laughing in my living room and nobody else heard it but me. So him and Owens did the lockup and Cena got the best of him the first time. And I see John look across and he just goes, "You been out on Monday. Today's Sunday. Ain't nobody beat me on Sunday." And I'm like, "Oh my God."
yeah, no, yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I saw that spot too. I thought that was really funny. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh man, Super Cena gonna Super Cena tonight." But man, like I can't sing the praises of this match enough, man. Like I mean, we've seen a lot of 5-star Cena matches since he's had the U.S. Open Challenge. You know, he's had Neville, he's had Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. I mean, hell, he had a 4-star to 4.5-star match with Zack Ryder, and that was just a gimmick match. I
Yeah.
mean, Zack Ryder pulled out a 450 splash. This U.S. Open Challenge is a moment for people who aren't quite there to showcase themselves as best as possible and get there in a loss, no less, because Cena's not going to lose the U.S. title on an Open Challenge on Raw. He's
He
going to lose it
might.
at a pay-per-view. I mean, he might, maybe,
He
if
might.
like, but that's the point. That's the point of these 5-star matches and these close matches. It's to have that belief that yes, he can lose it on any given week, because what happens if a Samoa Joe answers it? What happens if a Finn Balor answers it? You know what I mean? Like all of these guys are credible. So because they're building their credibility on NXT, because NXT is a WWE thing, so there's credibility there. And you know, just it I can't sing the praises of Cena and Owens enough, because Cena for I can't say doing the job, because Cena didn't really do the job. Cena just gave Owens a platform. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't do the job when not really hurting, because you can't hurt John Cena. You know.
Yeah, but I
So
mean, where do we go from here? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, is there going to be an open challenge on Raw? You know, I mean,
of course there is. Of course there is. I mean, Cena's still the U.S.
maybe
champion.
it might just be a promo, dude. It might just be a promo. You might not get the open challenge on Raw.
You know what? I can see if if he sells some type of injury, even maybe a pride injury kind of thing. But no, because Cena's got that stupid ass never give up gimmick. So I think he's gonna feign not doing the open challenge and then do the open challenge, and then somebody comes out. I just they're coming here on the 8th, and I don't have tickets because I'm not going, because I've been to a couple of Raws. The last couple have been lackluster. But I'm just hoping someone big doesn't answer the challenge on the 8th, because I am just going to kill myself if I miss like if something crazy, like if Uha comes out for no reason. He hasn't even
Dude,
made his
dude,
NXT
just go to
debut.
the show, man. Go to the show.
I don't know. I might. I might. I think I
It's like
might.
I'm sure you could probably get nosebleed tickets for like 20
50
bucks. And
bucks.
nosebleeds in an arena aren't that bad.
Nosebleeds in the New Orleans arena were 50 bucks last time they were here.
What?
They were they were 50 bucks, but I not only bought tickets 2 nights before, I entered a contest on a talk radio show through our local talk radio show. Do you know that I won those son of a bitch tickets?
Did you?
I did. I did. I have there's a couple of guys I work with who are pretty big marks. I said, I got a present for you. They were like, what? I handed them 2 tickets, and they were like, you're full of shit. And I'm like, nope, here you go. Have fun. I had already bought tickets, man, and I won them, so it's not like, I mean, it's not like I needed anything. So I was just like, here you go. Enjoy the show, guys.
Well, next time you
So
magically win tickets, I will drive to New Orleans to go to Raw.
next time I win tickets to WrestleMania or something, it'll be worth your drive. Don't
Yeah,
come for
dude.
a Raw.
We'll just make a pact
On
here and now. If either one of us ever wins WrestleMania tickets, we will take the other and film live on location.
live stream whole time. We'll
All
find like
weekend.
a cracked
All
version of.
weekend.
Yep. Yep, all week, because we'll do access and all too. We'll just be like we'll get a selfie stick. We'll like walk around until we find Tyler Breeze and just be like, "Yo, dog, I got my bro on the other end of this stick." So, but guys, that's gonna do it for us tonight. Elimination Chamber was fantastic overall. There's definitely one match that you cannot miss from this event. We will be back tomorrow night, provided Daniel's internet doesn't act stupid again. We will be back for Raw, like we are every other week. Until then, y'all have a good night.
Peace.